Hello, this is Short Me Tina from shortmetina.com. It's been a couple of days since I did my last video. If you are a premium member, you're well aware that I took a week-long vacation. I went to the beautiful island of Jamaica. Lovely people, gorgeous food. I had a great, fun, relaxing time laying on the beach and just really doing a lot of nothing, but also like a lot of excursions. Again, eating a lot of food and meeting great people, hanging with great friends. I had an awesome time. Missed the market tremendously. While we did have access to Wi-Fi at the resort that we were staying at, it wasn't the most reliable, it wasn't the strongest, and you had to actually physically be inside of the hotel room to use or to have a strong signal. If you left your room and you went on the beach, etc., the signal became kind of funky. And it was a little annoying for me because I do, even if I'm not actively trading the markets, I do like to check on, positions that I have open. I like to read my emails. I like to respond to my emails. And I like to more or less remain engaged within the market. That didn't happen as much as I wanted it to. I was able to, again, when I was in my hotel room, I was able to check on some stock quotes, etc., but not to the level, obviously, that I would like to do. But good news is I'm back, and the videos are not going to stop. So a couple of things happened right before I left for vacation and while I was on vacation. So I'm actually recapping 4 of our trades that the community took, or 4 trades that we exited or profited from or lost from within the past few weeks. So the first runner up, just because this stock is constantly in the news, is Snapchat, ticker symbol SNAP. This will be the community's, I want to say, 5th attempt at trading this stock, and out of the 5 trades we've entered on this particular stock, this is the first one we actually lost on. All right, I know, womp womp. And I kind of had a feel. Well, a couple of things. One, we decided to allocate, or we decided to treat this particular trade as speculative. That means that we were only designating about 1% of our entire trading portfolio to this particular stock. To put that into perspective, if your trading account is about $25,000, I wouldn't urge you to, allocate any more than, let's say, $250 to about $700 on this particular stock. So that's one thing. So we played this as a speculative play, and we actually traded counter trend. And what I mean by that is, as you can see, looking at the daily, the stock is in a descending trend, right? And that's characterized by lower highs, right? So if you look at March 17th, the high was 29.44. If you look at March 27th, the high was 24.40. If you come over to June 13th, the high was 18.58. So as you can see, like staircase stepping down, the highs are lower. Similarly, when a stock is in a descending trend, it's also characterized by lower lows. Similar concept, right? The lows are becoming lower. So on March 17th, the low was 18.90. You come to May, the low is 17.59. You come to June 15th, the low is $17. So the highs are getting lower and the lows are getting lower. So the stock is descending, and it's been in a downtrend essentially since it IPO'd. Even with that said, I thought that we would be able to catch a bounce with this stock. And while I generally advocate trading in the direction of the trend, and if we traded in the direction of this trend, we would be shorting the stock because the trend is down. I traded counter trend, and I placed my bet on a long trade. And it happens. It didn't work out for us. So my thesis or my theory was, well, once the stock breached this support level, and you can tell when a stock is going to breach support if it flirts with that area a lot. So we can say from the beginning of June up until it finally broke. So for an entire month, the stock more or less flirted with 17. 17 on June 15. We got 17 on 6/16. On 6/19, 1703. On 6/26, it was 1723. On July 5th, it was 1722, the low. On July 6th, the low was 1723, so on and so forth. So it flirted with that support area for a very long time. And generally speaking, when a stock flirts with support for so long, it's eventually going to break and crack, right? And so it actually did that. So we decided to pick up shares somewhere around here. I think the buy zone was something like 1550 to 1590. I thought that was like a safe bet. So we got into the stock, I would say, somewhere around here. And we did see a little bit of an uptrend on the third day. The stock went as high as 1597, but not quite close to our 16, I think it was 1690 was our initial target. Not quite close to our 1690 target. The stock eventually cracked 15, and we stopped out at 14.99. So that's our Snapchat trade. Out of the 5 times that we've traded the stock, I believe, in the community dating back to the IPO, this is actually the first time we were wrong on it. And I'm actually glad that we didn't go in with much size. We only went in with about 1% of our 1 to 3% of our portfolio, and so the damage wasn't that bad. We only lost about 3%. So if you allocated about $700 to this, losing 3% of $700, you probably lost, you didn't even lost $70. You probably lost something like $25. Nothing to really cry and weep about. The name of the game when you're trading is to ensure that you remain in the game. That's why at shortmetina.com, within our community, we preach a very robust defensive risk management game. So that was our Snapchat trade. On to better, more profitable trades. CHIX, I'm going to zoom into the weekly. It's a little bit better, less choppy. And I did a video. You can go back to shortmetina.com, look on hot stock picks, and you'll see that I did this video because I knew financials were set to report earnings, and I said, well, I wasn't really that bullish on domestic financials, and I believed I used the ETF XLF. Don't quote me, as a demonstration. I more or less stated that I was more interested in trading Chinese financials because, from a technical perspective, the chart, or the stock rather, was breaking out, and you can see by this big green, it's not red, by this big green candle, I was actually correct. So the community has actually been in this stock for quite some time, a few months. Sometimes our trades take, a day, a few short days to materialize. Sometimes we have to wait a few weeks to actually reach our goal. But that's fine. I usually say once you're in a trade and the direction is right and you're making money, just hold on to that stock. And that's exactly what we did in this case. Once we got into this trade, I believe we remained either break even or in profit. I don't think there was ever a time once we got into this trade around, I believe it was March, April. Once we got into this trade, more or less, again, we were either break even or in profit. So we got into this trade around 1433, just based on, my interpretation of the charts, all technicals. And our initial target, I believe, was, we always go for an initial 9% target to start shaving off. I believe it was something like 1575. So we got into this trade somewhere around 1433. When the stock started to break out around here and consolidated more, I knew that this stock was in for a bigger move, and that bigger move happened right here. More or less, my timing must be impeccable, right around the time that I did or released my video. So right now, the community, if you're still in this trade, you're up about 2 points or $2 per share, which I think amounts to something like 15 to 17% on your money. So that's CHIX. I still like it. Chart is still bullish to me. You know, you might have some pullbacks, and again, that's perfectly fine. In an uptrend, you're always going to have your pullbacks, but for right now, I think that the chart remains technically intact. This one was actually ticker symbol BOX. This one, let me zoom into the daily. This stock actually didn't take that long to materialize. Once again, when I'm long, and we all, for the most part, should be long in this market because we just recently hit new highs and we remain, again, in my opinion, in a bull market. Although I think we're looking a little toppy right now, but that should play out, or if we are toppy, that should show itself within the next few weeks or the next month or so. At any rate, so we took this trade. So again, when I look to enter a stock, obviously I wanna, for the most part, except in Snapchat, that last time around, I traded counter trend. For the most part, when I'm trading, I want to trade within the trend. I want to say 99, nobody's perfect. Let's say 95.5% of the times, you want to trade in the direction of the trend. So this trend, right, opposite to Snap, you can see it, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's why I love candlesticks. This trend is up, characterized by higher lows, right? If you look at the lows, they're all getting higher, and for the most part, higher highs, right? That's an uptrend. Versus Snapchat, where we saw lower highs, right? This is a downtrend, lower lows, right? So with BOX, you want to trade in the direction of the trend. That trend is up, and I usually wait for pullbacks, right? So trend is up, you'd probably want to get in somewhere around there. That's the pullback. Trend is up, you probably want to get in somewhere on the pullback. And so you just wait for the pullback, right? And believe it or not, I waited, I want to say, a few months. I've been watching this stock since probably late 2016, early 2017, and we were just able to get in at a decent price point and a decent buy point. So we got into this stock somewhere around here. I usually always like to look for those sell-offs and play the sell-off. Got into it somewhere around there, I believe, with a buy zone of like $17.50 to $18, something like that. So we got into the trade around here, and you know, stock went up a little bit, didn't quite hit our target, popped back, and we finally was able to, let me make sure that I'm right with this. Yeah. And we were finally able to hit our target when the stock, you know what? That's not entirely correct. So the buy zone is right, but we didn't get in around there. We got in somewhere around here. Around here. Yeah. Because it didn't take that long for the trade to work out. So we, again, stock popped up. Similar metrics. Same sort of thinking. Stock popped up. We waited for the pullback. So we got in somewhere around here, stock based a little bit, and you know me, I like to see a consolidation, even if it's a small one. And we finally hit our initial 9% target when the stock hit 1907 or 1915, something like that. And after that, the stock actually went on to go as high as $20, representing something like $2.50 or 2.5 points for every trade owned, right? So that was our box trade. And last but not least, well, it's the least for this, well, it's the last for this video rather, is our Tsla trade. Ticker symbol TSLA. Once again, you know me, I like to play that bounce. And although the stock sold off a lot, you know, we're still in an uptrend with Tsla, right? Still an uptrend, remember, characterized by higher highs, higher lows, still an uptrend. Stock sold off, and that's kind of when you want to get into these trades, right? You don't want to chase them up here necessarily. You don't want to chase them up here. You want to wait until it pulls back. And just look at the chart. You'll see when it's pulling back, right? Stock it's trending up, then you have a pullback. You get in on the pullback, right? Stock is trending up, and then you get a pullback. You want to get in on the pullbacks. You don't want to chase up here. That's where you get burned. So the people that are buying up here, they're losing a lot, right? Look at this. They're losing a lot. If you bought up here when the stock was at 386, when it hit like 300, you lost something like what? 15 to 20% of your money in like 6 or 7 days. Don't chase stocks. I always say that. Don't chase. If the stock runs away from you, so be it. There's going to be, I just recapped well, I'm in the middle of one right now, but I'm recapping 4 trades that the community took in, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks time. There's going to be trades. And if you look at, if you go to shortmetina.com and you look at my video recaps, or if you go on my YouTube page and you look at my video recaps, there's no shortage of videos, meaning there's no shortage of stocks to trade. So you don't need to chase. At any rate, I do like to catch these sell-offs, especially if the stock is in an uptrend. Once again, trading in the direction of the trend. And we actually play this as speculative. Speculative because it is a very volatile stock, right? It can go up 20 to 30% in a very short period of time. It can also lose 20 to 30% in a short period of time. So we actually got in this trade, and your percentage allocation strictly depends on you, your account, your level of aggressiveness, whether or not you're a conservative trader or aggressive trader. It's all on you. I just usually throw out these percentage allocations, to give people sort of the guidelines or the infrastructure in which I work within, but you're more than welcome to do your own thing. So at any rate, we waited for this to sell off, and similar to BOX, we were waiting actually to get into this stock around the breakout level. So we were waiting, I would say, from April, ending of March, beginning of April, to get into this stock. So myself and the community, we saw all of this happen. We saw the stock go from, and around this time, we actually missed our entry by, I want to say like 2 or 3 points. Say, for example, my entry was 290, and I think this might be the exact numbers. Say, for example, my buy zone was 290, the stock dipped to 296. And even with that 6-point difference, some folks may have gotten in, I didn't. Even with that 6-point difference, imagine how difficult it is to see that you didn't take the trade, right? Although it was only a 6-point spread, and see the stock go from 296 all the way to 386, right? It's like what, about 100 points, $100 per share. It's pretty sickening to see. But we're very disciplined here, and we're disciplined for a reason. We win more than we lose because of our discipline. At any rate, we waited for a few months, since around April, to get into this trade. Finally saw our opportunity when the stock sold off. Got in somewhere around here with the buy zone of like 300 to 305 or 300 to 310, something like that. And our initial target was this throwback here around 327, 329. Stock is basing right now. It's consolidating for the next move. The next move can be towards the downside, or we can break out and continue going here. Continue moving up. I have my thoughts, but I'm gonna watch Tesla. I'll watch Tesla a bit more. I'll see the trading activity before I I make a educated guess on its next move. So that's it for now. Out of 4 trades, we had 3 winners, 1 loser. Snapchat didn't work out. It happens. But I love Snap. This stock is gonna, I'm telling you, this stock, I'm not sure if it's before, I want to say before this year is out, it's going to touch 29 again. You'll see. So I'm just gonna wait until Mr. Market is ready to run it again, and I'm gonna get in at a sweet point, and I'm gonna ride it all the way up there and possibly beyond. But anyway, for now, we're out of Snap. Didn't work out this time around. CHIX. This is Chinese financial, not domestic. We're sitting at 646. The community got in somewhere around 1433, so that's looking good. BOX, again, we got in somewhere around here, around the low, rather the mid 17s. Stock is sitting at 19. And last is Tesla. We got in somewhere around 300 to 310. We started unloading around 330. So those are my 4 trades, all right? The video was kind of long, I'm sorry, but I just really wanted to get through these 4 trades. So if you like what you see, you want to join our community, you want to see what the fuss is all about, yeah, you want to see whether or not I'm good, you want to just get in on the action, go to shortmetina.com and sign up. Thanks for listening, and as always, thank you for the support.